Hello, people. Welcome back to Activism Uncensored. We've got some good news that's come through in the last 24 hours for those of you who aren't aware. Greta Thunberg, famous climate protester, has been cleared of all charges made against her during a protest last year in the UK. Greta, along with her four co-defendants, were found not guilty of breaking the law when they refused to follow police instructions to move on during a climate protest. District Judge John Law threw out a public order charge due to no evidence of any offence being committed, adding that the police attempted to impose, quote, unlawful conditions. We're going to remind ourselves of what happened at the protest and then come back and talk a little bit more about the case being dismissed.
In the UK, Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg was detained by London police Thursday to protest outside the Energy Intelligence Forum, a major oil and gas industry conference.
Behind these closed doors at the Oil and Money Conference, spineless politicians are making deals and compromises with lobbyists from destructive industries, the fossil fuel industry. People all over the world are suffering and dying from the consequences of the climate crisis caused by these industries who we allow to meet with our politicians and have privileged access to.
So that's what happened at the protest. This verdict might come as a shock to some people, but the judge said that the conditions imposed on protesters were, quote, so unclear that it is unlawful, end quote. He also added that anyone failing to comply were actually committing no offence. He also added that it was quite striking that there were no witness statements taken from anyone at the hotel, that was approximately 1,000 people, or from anybody trying to get into the building. There was no evidence of any vehicles being impeded, no evidence of any interference with emergency services or any risk to life. Of course, Greta, being the fantastic campaigner that she is, couldn't help but join a couple of protests while she was over in the UK for her trial. She went to stand against a proposed expansion of Farnborough Airport, and also at another meeting where she challenged the money behind so-called green business dealings. Let's take a look what happened there.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Cross. The climate activist Greta Thunberg joined hundreds of campaigners on a march today in protest at the proposed expansion of Farnborough Airport. Plans have been submitted that would see a limit increased from 50,000 to 70,000 flights a year. Well, the airport, which mainly serves private jets, says the move would meet demand for business trips. Catherine DaCosta reports.
Several hundred climate protesters from across the south set off from Farnborough town centre. Leading the march was global icon Greta Thunberg, adding her voice to calls for an outright ban on private jets.
It's great to see that we are many who stand behind this, and that we are many who are not gonna let the rich few who are responsible for the majority of aviation emissions and overall emissions, we're not going to let them get away with continuing like this, continuing to sacrifice people and the planet to maintain their extremely violent and extremely dangerous lifestyles.
I suppose the thing that really worries me the most, I mean, having written about climate change since '88, is we kind of think in a very linear way. And I'm seriously worried about whether we pass one of these thresholds. This is when the whole climate system clicks into a new state.
We are here with Extinction Rebellion and Greta Thunberg. Despite advice from climate scientists, the Science Museum sponsors Adani, BP and Equinor carry on drilling for new coal, oil and gas, bringing misery, death and extinction to the world.
I'm at one with Extinction Rebellion and Greta Thunberg in the sense that it seems almost inevitable we're going to hit 1.5 degrees now. And I'm seriously worried about whether we pass one of these thresholds. This is when the whole climate system clicks into a new state because of feedback effects. That's the thing that keeps me awake at night, is actually the planet passing a tipping point, because once you go past it, you can't turn back the clock. You've clicked into a new climate pattern. for the whole planet.
Isn't it time that you start practicing as you preach? You reveal yourself in your own due diligence report that Adani is responsible for environmental crimes, human rights abuses and corruption. Adani recently invested 16 billion Australian dollars into a new coal mine. Is that what you stand for as the Science Museum?
Greta clearly making the most of her time in the UK there while she's over here, and that's been fantastic to see. Should just point out that she wasn't arrested at either of those further demonstrations. It's also refreshing to see judges seeing people's rights to protest very clearly. We've had things recently with the Public Order Bill, etc., that seek to infringe people's rights to free protest, and that is something that we really, really do have to look after in this country as well as around the world. So that's the latest news on that case. Just wanted to bring up to speed with the information on Greta Thunberg's case. And as always, we'll try and keep you up to speed with the latest protests in the UK and beyond. Thanks a lot for watching the video. If you've not done so already, please do check out some of our other content. Give us a like, hit the notification bell and subscribe. It really does help us out with the algorithm. Until next time, take care, people.